What should I do if I'm arrested? What should I do if the police stop me and want to ask me some questions? These questions have been asked of me many, many times. And the answer is simple. Don't talk to them. But how you don't talk to them is important. Many lawyers say, just say you want a lawyer. And that's a good shorthand way of saying it. Many lawyers say you should indicate that you're asserting your rights under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution. But that's kind of a mouthful. Some lawyers indicate that you should ask for a lawyer first and then worry about whether you should talk. But all of these methods are difficult to remember. The important part is that you have a right not to be interrogated by the police. It doesn't matter whether you're stopped in a car, walking down the street, in an interrogation room after being taken into custody. It's all the same. Once the police stop you, wherever that may be, and start talking to you, you're under suspicion. Now there's all sorts of legal and ramifications. There's all sorts of serious rules that require what stage it's at, how they're supposed to do it, whether they should give you the so-called Miranda warnings or not. As a quick aside, the Miranda warnings are an indication that you have the right to remain silent and a right to an attorney, and that if you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. What they never tell you is that you don't get one appointed for interrogation purposes. You only get it appointed for courtroom purposes. Back to the question of what you should do. You should very politely, but very firmly, indicate that you do not want to respond to their questions. When I say there, I mean any law enforcement, whether that's local police, state police, the FBI, the Secret Service, Homeland Security, the postal inspectors, any law enforcement agency. You have a right to say, I don't care to talk to you. You also have that right with private investigators. Although it's not constitutionally based, you certainly don't have to tell them what you know and what you don't know. Many times people try to figure out where the lines are. How much can I answer and before I get in trouble? The easy way to remember where the line is don't say anything. Many times I use the example of if a crime involves another person. Let's say the crime involves your friend Henry. Then the person says, well, if the police ask me, can I tell them I know Henry? I say no, even though that's obvious that you do know Henry, that you've grown up with Henry, that you know him from the neighborhood, know him from work, know him from school, know him from any number of circumstances. You don't say you even know Henry, because that would lead to another question and to another question. So the best way of handling any interrogative situation is by very politely but firmly indicating that you don't want to talk about it.